But let's talk about the Bucks. So they're going to play the Hawks in the next in the semifinals in Las Vegas in this NBA Cup. Bucks Hawks. What are you watching for in that one?
Man, I'm watching to see how the Bucks handle the Hawks defense. I think that's going to be a really interesting one, just in that sense. With I think ultimately I think the Bucks will take the win, but I think it's going to be a challenge for them. It's not an
Mhm.
easy one in terms of finding that stuff out, because I'd just put Dyson Daniels immediately on Dame and just
Yeah.
harass him all night long. And you got to hope you have enough length to take on Giannis. But if you can just slow those guys down a little bit, you're going to have a good opportunity. And their defense has proven to slow those guys down. They, again, got to win against Milwaukee already this season. So it's not like they're going in there completely uh, unaware of the blueprint for how they need to play to beat Milwaukee in this one. I think just the challenges, though, for Atlanta offensively might be a bit much. I think Milwaukee will figure that stuff out. And the guy to keep an eye on in this whole game is Chris Middleton. He's
Mhm.
played 3 games already. He's not shooting it really well, but I'll tell you what he's doing. He's doing what you want Jalen Suggs to do. He's playmaking like crazy. I think he finished the game against Orlando with 8 assists. I think when you're looking at that stuff, he's seeing the floor really well right now.
Yeah, and he's really just sort of by just being there changed the dynamics of Milwaukee's lineups. All they feel longer now. There's some guys that are out of the rotation. They've figured out what they got to do. Andre Jackson Jr. on the outside. AJ Green's giving them good stuff defensively, and Middleton is just really savvy and just knows where to be all the time. And everything just sort of clicks now. They're getting back to okay, we're going to play Giannis and Middleton together. When we're not with our starting group, we're obviously going to play Giannis and Middleton together. We'll play Dame and Brook Lopez together. But yeah, I think you mentioned the blueprint. So the last time that these teams played, obviously the Hawks won, but Giannis had 31 in that game. Trae Young went 0 for 9 from 3-point range, and the Hawks still won, which is pretty remarkable. But a big part of that was that they turned the Bucks over 18 times, and I think that's going to be a big part of their blueprint in this game. Is like we got to get these turnovers. Trae Young will shoot better, and I think we're going to have a pretty good shot. But just to
Giannis
speak
still
to
might
the
have 31.
I know exactly, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like they had 30, he had 31 and they still beat him. So the part here is what's interesting is the defense for Milwaukee has been about league average over the last 10 games. And Middleton's obviously helped with some of that. But what kind of defensive effort are you getting from Milwaukee? It's still sort of a wax and wane kind of thing for me. A little inconsistent. Here's my Bucks take. I think they have the best duo in the NBA right now. Giannis and Lillard. Like Dame over the last 10 games has been ridiculous. 26 points per game on 48% shooting, 42% from 3-point range, 8.3 assists. Giannis is scoring like 30 million points a game now. Like who's the better duo right now in the NBA? Who's playing better than Giannis and Dame?
Yeah, I don't know if we can really talk about it. I think maybe we could talk Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, but that'd probably be over the whole length of the season. Tatum and Brown are always going to be in the conversation. I just don't want Boston fans to get mad at us.
It happens by me just being on the show. So just
Fair enough. No, but I think right now over the last 10 games they have been the best duo. I think they're beginning to find the synergy that we thought they'd find last season. We're
Mhm.
understanding how to play with each other, how to work off of each other and things like that. We've seen more Giannis and Dame pick and rolls this season than I
Mhm.
think we had last season. I think we're getting to kind of see a little more of a comfort level for Dame. Ultimately, I mean, look, beginning of the season, everybody wanted to call him washed up, and he looked slow. He didn't look ready to go. I think we're beginning to see it kind of come to fruition now, and I think it's a dynamic duo. It's a tough one because those two guys are getting into the paint like crazy, and more importantly, they're making the right kicks out of it. They're making the right passes. They're dropping dimes. They're doing all of that stuff, and I think it's helped the Bucks in general. Once those two guys get in the paint, the defense collapse. They're
Yep.
spraying the ball around and they're finding open threes.
And Torian Prince is hitting like plus 40% from 3-point range. Bobby Portis has had a couple of good games lately, especially with that pick and pop, pick and roll kind of stuff.